Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'll be reviewing a movie and it is titled Blood Vessel. It is showing on Netflix and it's from Play Network Studios again. Okay, let me give you a little background of why I'm watching this movie so late, because this movie has been out for a while and I've been seeing it for a couple of months, but I have coconut head and I didn't really care about it until I discovered David Ezekiel. So I just discovered David Ezekiel and I wanted to watch any other thing that he has done. So I was led back to Blood Vessel and I decided to watch it. And I don't regret watching it because he's a very good actor. It's been a while. It has been a while I saw an actual actor. So this story is about youths that were against the pollution of their community by oil, and there was a lot of pollution in the community and they were trying to fight against it. So there was a fight between the youth and the army, and in the midst of this fight a soldier was burnt to death. So apparently they killed an army man. Of course, the commandant or the head of the army, what they call them, he sent out his people to look for the culprits. Look for these guys, get them for me. So, if you know this thing that happens in Nigeria, where when something happens, and a young guy is suspected, the army or the police will come and start taking all the young guys in that particular community. So that was what was going on. The army was in search of that particular group that killed their fellow army guy. Okay, so they were in search of these guys and these guys were on the run. So these people began to arrest young guys here and there. If you're a guy, they're going to arrest you. So the whole community was in chaos. Young guys were running away and the army was chasing them. So in the midst of this whole chaos, the people involved and then two other brothers that were trying to leave the country were, they all clashed. Okay, they all ran into the same place. On the side there is this girl that was locked up by her father, you know because she was seeing a boy that the father did not approve of, and the father did not approve of this boy just because he didn't like him. No, there was a deeper story to the reason why the father didn't want her to associate with the boy. So apparently this girl was gotten from the water. She was betrothed to the water, the river gods had been waiting because the parents had been looking for a child, and when they did not get a child, they had asked the gods of the river to bless them with a child, and eventually they got this girl, and she was not supposed to get married or have a child, else she would die. But as Coconut Head where she be, she fell in love with this boy, and her father was trying his best to make sure that this guy stays away from his daughter. So the father locks her inside and she was trying to beg him, "Father, please give me my freedom. I want to be with this guy." And the father said no. The father said no, but then she revealed that she was carrying this guy's child. Okay, and the father said, "Okay, I'm going to send you to your auntie in so 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 town, and she's going to take you to people that will get that thing out of your belly." So this girl was frustrated. She was trying to get out, and her boyfriend Abe, that's his name, he came through the window to give her food, and then she told him what the father had said, that the father was planning to abort the baby. And Abe helped her to escape the father's house. He removed the air conditioner stuff and brought her out from that space, and they ran away. So as they were running away, these army guys that were chasing young guys, everybody clashed. So it was Abe, Oyin, which is the girlfriend, and the two brothers that were trying to leave the country, and the other two guys that were the ones involved in the whole killing of the soldiers. So six of them clashed, and these army guys were chasing them, and they hid in the same place. Okay, the two brothers that were trying to leave the country had arranged with a man called Mr. P. They had paid Mr. P for passage to enter a ship that was going to another country. Okay, I think European country. I can't remember the name of the country. So they were waiting for this Mr. P, and it happened that one of the brothers lost his phone. He couldn't reach Mr. P, but then one of the other guys that was involved in the killing knew who Mr. P was. So all of them connected and got some money, contributed, and Mr. P sent them to the ship. So Mr. P got them into the ship, and they were supposed to stay there until they got to the country they were going to. But then Mr. P had a heart attack before the ship could leave, and the owner of the ship, which is a white man, told Mr. P that he didn't want him in his ship. So all the promises that Mr. P made to them, telling them that he would give them food in the night, and all those things did not happen because Mr. P was not even on the boat. So, I mean, on the ship. So the ship left the community. The ship left and headed to Accra. That was the first place they stopped. And after some time, of course, these guys started getting hungry, and that was where their downfall started. So after some time, Mr. P was not coming forth. There was no food. One of the guys decided to go to the top and find food. Very bad idea. So this guy's name is Degbe, and he decided to go up and get food. And eventually this Degbe gets caught. Oh, stupid guy. He gets caught by the owner of the ship, and they saw him when he was eating in the kitchen. Instead of grabbing food and going back down, he saw food in the kitchen. He started eating it there. So he got caught. So the owner of the ship gave him food and said, oh, he must be hungry, stuff like that. He started eating as a glutton that he is. And eventually he exposed the others. He told the owner of the ship that there were more people down. Okay, and eventually these guys were brought up, but then Abe was not with them. Abe had already gone up before Degbe eventually exposed the other people. So Abe had gone up to look for medicine for his girlfriend because she was having fever and stuff like that. By the time he returned, they had already brought out these other people. He was not there. This guy was suspecting them as spies. He was asking them, who sent you to my ship and stuff like that. So eventually they told him that it was Mr. P, and he called up Mr. P asking him, did you give anybody passage to my ship? Mr. P blatantly denied them and said he didn't know them. He didn't give anybody passage to the ship. And that was where problems started, because they had this owner of the ship was a psycho. He was mad. So these guys started arguing among themselves, and this Degbe that exposed them, he was like, wait, are you sure you guys are not spies? Blah, blah, blah. He was so relaxed. Like, is it your place? He was so relaxed, eating food, telling them to eat. Eventually, when Mr. P denied them, he was now like, are you guys sure that you are not spies? Nya, 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 nya. And he was still eating on top of it. Guess what happened? This man shot Degbe in the head and he died immediately. That was when these other people knew that water don't pass Gario. It happened that Abe saw everything that happened from a small space, a small window. So I'm not going to tell further of the story. It's a very interesting story, but there was a lot of blood. Oh God, I was almost. So one thing I understood about the story is that this girl Oyi is probably the main target in this whole thing. Now, she came from the river, okay, because there was a part we saw a little backstory where she was telling Abby about the river stuff, And she was telling Abe that she cannot get married, she cannot have children, but she knows what she wants and blah 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 blah. Okay. I just think that Oyi returned to the river where she belonged to. That was it. Because they want that she's going to die if she gets married or if she has a baby. And she had a baby in her belly. So just think everything that's happened, you know, was connected to her returning to the water where she belongs. So very quickly, the story diverted from, the whole killing of soldiers and the pollution of the community to every other thing that happened in the ship. We didn't really find out what happened after or what happened with the soldiers and stuff like that. We only found out that Abe, I'm not going to spill the end of it. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure that a lot of people watching this video have already seen the movie. But people that haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it for you. I don't do that. So yeah, you should go see it and see how it ends. But yeah, I think they diverted from, it wasn't the whole army guy dying wasn't the main point. They just created that in order to bring these six people together. What do I think of the movie? I think it's a good watch. Language they were speaking, I can't really say anything about it. So I don't know about the language. But I saw somebody's review on the movie saying that the way they spoke the language was wrong, and if they were going to cast people for such language, they should cast people that actually know the language. But you could cast people that know the language and they don't know how to act it. So is it better to get people that know how to act it than getting people that can speak it but cannot act it? We have subtitles going on there, so I don't really care about the language. But yeah, I understand the point that if you're going to bring people to act a particular movie with a certain language, you should make sure that they can speak those languages to avoid offending the original owners of the language. Well, that is the end of my review. Peace.